Unpeeled, thanks to 3dprint.com. And today we've got a couple of news items for you. And first off, Oerlikon and 3D Systems have signed kind of a cooperation agreement. Oerlikon, of course, is a service, does some space parts, lots of stuff. Just recently also got stuck in the US service market. Oerlikon's a large, diversified group doing a lot of stuff in surface coating and many other things besides. And now it's bought its fourth, DMP Factory 500 3D Systems metal printer. The 500 by 500 by 500 millimeter tri-laser system, which is optimized by GF or George Fisher Machining Solutions and other companies specialized in surfaces, in a partnership with 3D Systems, is now going to be a mainstay of a offering that Oerlikon has, mainly in the United States, for aluminum parts. Now, this is notable because, as you can see in the picture in front of you, Oerlikon has a number of systems from AOS and SLM Solutions already, in addition to the 3D Systems machines. But now it's going to be focusing its offering with the 4 DMP systems on the US market and aluminum components. Now again, aluminum prints very fast on the machine, so it provides us with relatively cost-effective components. And and it's notable this offering is going to be focused on the United States. Could it be that certain, for example, government customers would prefer a US-based system in America, and that would it look kindly at even a Swiss company printing parts in America? Or is it just a choice of Oerlikon for a good printer, or a choice for Oerlikon or to have a partnership with several metal 3D printing companies? Well, whatever. On the whole, we don't know yet, but generally this means that Oerlikon is a relatively new entrant to the competitive kind of what we call the super service bureaus around the office. Companies like Syntavia, Adman, More3D, Mimotechnic, like these top of the market, multiple machines, all these ITAR, all these really tough to get certifications, and the companies that have those, kind of compete in a world of their own for new space and aerospace and defense and all this kind of stuff together with each other. So this is a really very, very fast growing segment of the market. It's Syntavia, Admin, More3D, Mimo. It's not a huge market. There's not a ton of service bureaus that compete in this market, but generally they're doing disproportionately well to as a general rule to the rest of the market. So this is an interesting development just because of that. The next piece of news comes to us from Dubbo in Western New South Wales, Australia. This is the news that a local county council, the County Council of Dubbo, has commissioned a toilet block, which will be printed hopefully in about a week. And the council said previously that it had spent $500,000 to build 3 toilets in 2020 using conventional construction methods. And now the 3D printing construction method of one integrated kind of toilet block will be 178,000 Australian dollars cheaper, and we'll have double the amount of toilets and 3 urinals. So that's I like that because I don't know how these numbers add up ultimately, but I love the idea of people choosing 3D printing because it's cost effective. I love this. I'm not as crazy as everyone else about houses, but I love infrastructure, ancillary structures, cisterns, formwork, all sorts of stuff in the middle of nowhere, and Australia's got an awful lot of middle of nowhere. So these kind of things, I think, could be really, really a great use case for 3D printing, a great business case for the technology as well. The 3D printing was done by Contour 3D, and I think this kind of thing particularly could have a bright future. The next thing is OHB System has worked together with INCUS and the European Space Agency to look at how under lunar conditions they can use the Hammer Lab35, the INCUS's slurry SLA system, to 3D print under lunar conditions recycled titanium slurry components. This is a relatively new technology to explore on behalf of the space agencies. They've looked at E-beam a lot, they've looked at DED and lots of other technologies, powder bed fusion, obviously with lasers as well. This is just an alternative, and they've looked at this as LML, and the idea is that these slurry-based or LMM or lithography-based metal manufacturing processes, as you can see in the diagram in front of you, there's a lot of steps. We need some specialized photopolymeric materials as well, so it's not perfect if we're going to be trying to do this in complete isolation. but it's relatively low energy process, relatively there's not a lot of powder floating around, not a lot of reduced risk of explosion. There's a lot to be said for this technology being used to make fine mechanical components, especially quite small ones. And of course, under lunar conditions, a lot of the problems we may have with models collapsing in the green state and all this kind of stuff might actually dissipate and become less of a problem to us. So that could be quite interesting in and of itself. And I thought it was an interesting development. I mean, to me, the thing that makes the most sense, obviously, is DED and these kind of WAM processes, because you can use all sorts of scrap in a very easy way. But I think it's a nice addition to the arsenal of the soon-to-be lunar surface residence to be able to 3D print stuff using slurry SLA as well. The next thing is, well, the Herzog Group, which is really working quite overtime at this point to invest in companies. Only recently they invested in AIM 3D, which is a medium large format material extrusion printer that had a couple of extra tricks up its sleeve as well, including like a high fiber loaded components and sinterable kind of components as well. Now it is invested in Q.Big 3D. And this is a $2 million round, which also includes MANZ AG, early investor. And this is in the hopeful launch of the Queen 1 XXXL. Now this has a variable granular fusion, so it's a pellet extrusion, material extrusion 3D printer, but it is able to change the extrusion speed and pressure in line with geometry, which is really exciting, and should give them better print results, and is able to do nozzle switching. So the idea of the system is essentially it's a giant system, giant. It's 1700 by 1050 by 1050 millimeter. So I do mean giant for us then. It uses pellets, so super cheap, really nice, and it's a nozzle switching system. And a lot of people have tried this nozzle switching system on desktop printers or larger systems, and it's one of these things that seems super easy, but actually pressure build up and changing nozzles without having kind of oozing effects and changing the nozzle, making essentially the hole smaller and then having the same pressure and having kind of backflow kind of problems and stuff like that. It's actually kind of difficult to do this. It's one of these things that looks kind of easy, but it's kind of difficult. And the idea is, of course, very obvious. And so the benefits, if they get this right, we print really fine layers using a fine nozzle on the outside. That takes a long time, and then we use this bigger, rough nozzle to kind of, in a really, really quick way, complete the inside of the part. Super logical. Now, if this works, and the company so far has a number of marquee customers, among them John Deere and customers like that, this could be a really big thing. Now, this is interesting because a lot of people were looking at these really large material extrusion systems, and they saw them as all being kind of commoditized, all being them kind of useless. All these people, and I remember last Formnext, there was a ton of them, and this was very, very difficult to see which of these actually had a future or not. And then a lot of them looked the same, a lot of them performed or seemed to perform the same, and a lot of people just thought, well, you know what? Okay, they're just commoditizing medium and large format material extrusion, and everyone's going to have these giant systems with the lights on top, and that's it. And it turns out, at least as a part of the Herzog Group, that there may be some diamonds in the rough, and there may be that this Queen company really could become a supplier to large automotive customization companies, formwork and stuff like that. So this could be an interesting one. I like this because it's easy to look for the ideal startups, right? But it's not easy to go through this big market where everybody looks like it has a similar startup and to find out there may be some diamonds in the rough there. So I think that's quite a commendable thing by the Herzog Group, or showing themselves to be very, very active investors. Anyway, that's the news so far. My name is Joris Beals, and this is another edition of 3D Printing News Unpeeled. Thanks to 3dprint.com. Thank you for listening.